From the Columbus Square Bowling Palace, Columbus, Ohio, it's the $150,000 Budweiser Classic on the PBA Fall Tour. Qualifying up on top, Dave Ferraro. 7 years on tour, he's hoping for his first title. John Gant will become the scoring average leader for this year with his play today. Purvis Granger, 22 years old, is in the race for the Rookie of the Year honors. And in the first match, it's 35-year-old veteran Charlie Tapp trying to come out of a slump. He goes against 24-year-old Ron Palombi Jr. Welcome to Columbus, Ohio, along with Hall of Famer Earl Anthony J. Randolph, and we'll get right to our opening match. First prize this afternoon, $27,000. And in match one, Ron Palombi Jr. going against Charlie Tapp. Here's Palombi, qualified fifth with a 218.35 tournament average, 6'3", 190 pounds. And a nice way to begin for the handsome young man from Erie, Pennsylvania. Third year on tour for Ron. His fourth appearance in the TV finals this year. Now Charlie Tapp, 6'5", 205 pounds. And Charlie comes up a little short and leaves the 2-pin. This is Charlie's first appearance in the championship round this year, and his first since 85's Old Spice Classic, his 8th year on tour. And as we mentioned, Earl, he's been in a long slump.
He has, and as a matter of fact, Charlie, if he can even finish fifth today, will just about double his earnings for the year. It's been a real long, tough year for Charlie.
Tapp, they call him Chucklin' Charlie. He's cashed just 5 times in 24 events this season.
And that's amazing because Charlie is a very steady performer. He's got all the good fundamentals as you see Charlie's approach to the foul line. Good fundamentals, good knee bend, good extension through the shot. His game is solid, Jay. I don't know what it's been, whether it's been a mental problem for Charlie, just not thinking properly. Just been a really tough year.
That one gets there. Career earnings of better than $269,000 for Charlie Tapp from South St. Paul, Minnesota. Ron Palombi averaged 218.3, and he had a 269 high game here this week. And on the wrong side, and a little upset with his approach right there. And on hand today, Ron and Linda Palombi looking at their son.
Did you see the shot breaking across the head pin there, Jay? And the problem the players have had this week is if they get the ball started to roll a little bit early, it really jumps on them on the back end. And this is not an easy spare on this lane condition. Covered it well.
Yes, he did. During the winter tour, Ron finished third in the Long Island Open.
You see he got that ball out there where he wanted the first one. He got it wide out toward near the channel. He got it to come in at the right angle. That would have been a strike if he'd have thrown that ball on the first ball. Again, the track area does hook here. There's a lot of oil on the lanes. The players are having a problem if they catch the track area early or start it rolling too soon. It goes high in the head pin or crosses over.
He won his only tour title, the Tucson Open in 1984. His mom and dad, I'm sure, extremely proud to be here and watch their son today. Here's the way we stand in the early going of this first match. Tapp is right there. His high game this week, 279.
And he didn't like that shot, Jay. That ball kind of got off his thumb a little bit inside of his target line. I don't think he could get it off his thumb very clean. And when you can't get it off your thumb clean, you tend to pull the ball. Fortunately, he had a lot of speed on it, kept it in the pocket area.
Charlie Tapp up by 10. Wants to win here today to get out of that slump and also to buy his dog a hearing aid. That's what he told me.
You're making that up.
No, I'm not making it up. That's what he told me. And he strikes. So it is Tapp, the early leader here. Back with more in a moment.
You're going down a road behind the wheel of a new Dodge Dakota. It's the first true midsize pickup ever made. Inside, room for 3. With optional 3.9-liter V6, the Dakota doesn't shy away from hard work. Cross into Dakota territory. Dodge Dakota, the new state of the American truck.
Your handyman works hard all year round, so give him a hand with hard-working gifts from True Value Hardware stores. He can handle a variety of soldering jobs with the Weller soldering gun kit for just $16.99. And locate hidden studs easily with the Zircon stud sensor for only $14.99. For big repairs, give him the Master Mechanic self-igniting torch for just $21.99. And he can form strong, lasting bonds with their solid-state glue gun for only $9.99 at most True Value Hardware stores.
This Bud's for all that you do.
They said this city was through. You said, no way.
Each day the spirit's growing. Your pride is really showing. You make America work, and this Bud's for you.
Here's to you. Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
This Bud's for you.
The $150,000 Budweiser Bowling Classic is sponsored by Budweiser. Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By Kodacolor VRG film with color as realistic as the color of life. By True Value Hardware. More than just a name, it's their way of doing business. And by Dodge, setting new standards of performance. Back here in Columbus, Palombi with strikes in the 4th and 5th, and Tapp open. He left the 4-10 in the 5th.
He threw the same shot he threw on that lane previously, Jay. The problem was that he had a little less speed on it. And remember last time we talked about how the extra speed kept the ball in the pocket. He threw it a little softer. It went through the nose. He got the big 4-10, didn't convert.
And the 7-pin won't go for him on 51.
Almost an automatic adjustment the player makes. Really, it's almost a subconscious adjustment. Now, Charlie was high on his previous shot on lane, excuse me, lane 52. He ups his speed a little bit. The ball doesn't quite get back to the pocket. As you see the head pin go to the wall, come back, take out the 4-5, leave the 7-pin only.
Charlie struggling a little bit. Palombi 14-10 in match play this week. He's an improving young bowler, concentrating better, and he says he's conquered one problem, and that's scoreboard watching. A lot of lifting off on this one, and down they go. And talk about scoreboard watching. That can be a problem if you're too concerned about what else is going on.
Not only that, but you start figuring out what you can shoot rather than going out and playing the game. You start looking up there, and it's the 9th and 10th frame, figure, well, if I strike out, I can shoot 250. That's when you get in trouble.
Palombi is up by 24. Tapp with the open frame in the 5th. He got the 7 to go. Very, very good shape here in our first match, up by 34.
This season, Kodak proudly brings you the richest, most radiant color ever in 200-speed film. New Kodacolor VRG200, the color of life.
If the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, why swallow cold pills to clear a stuffed nose? Cold pills have to go down to your stomach, dissolve into your bloodstream, and travel through your body before they finally get to your nose. But the shortest distance between relief and your stuffed nose is in Tristan long-lasting nasal spray. It starts to work in seconds. Tristan long-lasting nasal spray. Relief right on the nose.
Every now and then, I compete in front of the whole world. Other times, time with my family and friends. Come on, you're up. That's why I got into bowling. Yeah, bowling. It's fun. It's pretty good exercise. It's great. Best of all, you don't have to get a 10 to have a great time. All right. On the other hand, it doesn't hurt. So join the fun this weekend.
Along with Earl Anthony, Jay Randolph here in Columbus. Tapp with strikes in the 7th and 8th. Palombi has left the 10-pin just a moment ago.
As you see Ron's ball going down the lane, comes in a little bit behind the head pin, and that's the reason you leave that 10 so often. Cross lane at the spare. Look out. It's cutting it a little close there, Jay.
Yes, he was. Ron Palombi Jr. up by 23. You see that open in the 5th for Charlie Tapp.
Both players still in the match. Anything can happen yet with the 9th and 10th frame left to play. Charlie Tapp still can get 246 out of this game. Ron Palombi going at a 239 pace right now.
Palombi was an outstanding athlete at Mercyhurst High in Erie, Pennsylvania. Played baseball and basketball.
Almost an identical shot to the one he bowled previously on lane 52. The ball's well down the lane, comes in behind the head pin. As you see Ron going to the foul line, watch the lift and leverage. Tremendous lift on the ball. He's such a strong guy. He just gets it well down the lane. It comes in behind the head pin. And you see the pin lay in the channel next to the 10. No matter what Charlie Tapp does now in the 9th and 10th frames, and he's going to finish the match first, he can strike out for 246. Ron Palombi, sitting on the bench, could still shoot 248.
This is a very crucial shot coming for Charlie right here. He can really get back into it with a strike. Oh, my. He liked it, but didn't get the 4-pin to go.
That was probably the best shot Charlie threw in the whole match, Jay, and he really performed well on that one. He got the ball well over the foul line, got good lift and rotation on it. The ball just finished a little stronger than he wanted on the back end. As you see the ball entering the pocket area, just a tad high. That's a shame, because Charlie has spent a lot of time looking forward to this, getting back on television with a chance to win again.
Charlie has won only $5,050 this year on tour. Better than $30,000 last year. He is down by 23. If he finishes 5th, it will be worth $5,500 for him.
Still in the match, though, even though it doesn't look good for Charlie with one frame to play, 23 pins down. If he should strike out in the 10th for 225, Palombi would need a mark.
Well, tough luck for Charlie Tapp. Career championship round record of 11-13 in 14 previous appearances. A lifetime TV average of 211.5 for Charlie Tapp. So
Charlie didn't look really sure he made that 10 pin.
No. He's looking up there at that scoreboard.
While we have a minute, Jay, I wanted to say hi to Johnny Weber, who's recovering from a very serious auto accident at his mother's house in St. Louis. Dick and Juanita Weber's son. He's had some severe injuries, and we were looking forward to seeing Johnny back in good shape again in the near future.
Tapp, a score of 214.
Ron Palombi Jr. needs 4 pins to win this match. None of the top 5 players is qualified for next year's Firestone Tournament of Champions.
And it is Palombi who will move on as Tapp will collect the $5,500 for 5th place. And Ron Palombi Jr. from Erie, Pennsylvania is the winner of our first match.
Palombi really looks strong today, Jay, and he's throwing the ball extremely well. He's made some changes in his game recently, and it seems to have helped him a lot as far as his direction's concerned. He's taken that arm swing and learned to get rid of the ball slightly on the upswing to get that leverage and lift he's getting on the ball, and it looks good.
We'll be back and be bringing you up to date on the second match, which will have Palombi and Granger in a moment.
Bud Thunder. It's revved up and coming at you.
You might get caught out in the middle of nowhere with a dead battery, but I won't. This is a Delco maintenance-free battery, and when this green eye is showing, it means I've got all the starting power I need, up to 770 cranking amps. If you think your battery's fading fast, I'd start thinking Delco.
Now through January 3rd, get a $5 rebate on most Delco batteries. See a participating AC Delco retailer for details.
Never wait for trouble.
This fall, NBC Sports has a November to remember when heart-pounding excitement returns to the greens, where one putt could be worth $450,000. Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, Lee Trevino, and Fuzzy Zeller play the Skins Game. It's a November to remember on NBC.
Ron Palombi Jr. is the winner. He qualified 5th here, and he moves on as he defeats Charlie Tapp 237 to 214. Last year, Tom Baker was the winner here over Storm DeVincent for the title. And let's check in now and bring you up to date on the top 24. Guppy Troop, who is a great favorite here. Tom Kreitz, Von Bell from over in Akron, Ohio.
Jimmy Pritt's still bowling well, Jay. He's had a lot of good weeks recently.
And our statistician, Mr. Chuck Pierce, having a nice payday this week. Nice going, Chucker.
Almost made the telecast, Jay, and we would have had to have a new statistician.
George Branham, 3rd, winner last week, of course. Big Steve Cook, he's had a fine season.
He has, and he's still in the running for Bowler of the Year with one more event left on the fall tour. Another left-hander, Peter Hakim.
Don Janello having a good year. He's among the Bowler of the Year candidates. Bobby Jacks from New Orleans, Louisiana, and Bob Handley. And Amleto Monticelli, the young man from Venezuela, finishing 6th here.
Missed by 2 pins, Jay.
And now we are set for Ron Palombi Jr. to go against Purvis Granger. The top 5 players today have a combined PBA title total of 3, 1 each for Gant, Tapp, and Palombi.
Purvis Granger, in his match last night, the last match before the television show, struck out in the 10th frame to make the telecast over and beat Amleto Monticelli in that position round match.
Got a problem right now, I think, with the lane.
They're having a little problem with lane 51, getting it back to the first cycle. They'll be ready to go here very shortly, I'm sure.
Talking about that activity here last night, as you'll get a chance to see Purvis Granger in a minute. That 299 last night as he left a solid 4-pin. Now we're ready. And he has left the 10-pin.
Been a lot of 10 pins this week, Jay, and that's because the bowlers are all throwing pretty hard, and they're using bowling balls that hook a lot. They get the ball well down the lane, as you see Ron Palombi's first delivery of this match. A lot of speed, a lot of turn and loft, and again, late behind the head pin.
Palombi last year won $23,600. This year already $43,000. Here's your first look at Purvis Granger, a Rookie of the Year candidate from down in Lafayette, Louisiana, 5'11", 145 pounds. They call him Scooter. 202.5 on the TV pair this week, 14 and 10 in match play. And he's looking at a very tough split to start things off, the 4-6, 7-10.
What he's going to try to do here, Jay, is just get two of them. As you see Purvis going to the foul line, he's a very deliberate player, good fundamentals. As you can see, he's got great balance at the foul line. Just a little short with that first delivery. Set it down early. Throws the ball very hard at the 4-7, hoping to get a bounce. Didn't get it.
So Granger is open. 22 years of age. PBA member Avery LeBlanc, who was out on tour last year, has been his coach. Granger moving over to Houma, Louisiana to practice with Avery before coming out on tour. Gotta hurry. And Purvis is off to a rugged start.
And again, Jay, as I mentioned in the first match, it's almost an automatic adjustment, and the player doesn't even think about it. It just happens in the back of his mind. He went through the nose on lane 52, got the big split, upped his speed a little bit, got the ball a little wide of his target, and now the washout. A very difficult spare. He's going to try to get the ball to cross in front of the head pin, make the head pin take out the 10.
Well, coming up next, of course, except on the West Coast, that would be later for you folks out there, the skins game. Every hole of the tournament worth the big money. Fuzzy Zeller matches his skill against Mr. Nicholas, Mr. Palmer, and Lee Trevino. The skins game this afternoon on NBC Sports. Gotta hurry. Left the 10.
Ron Palombi, I'm sure you could see it on your television screen, made a pretty good size adjustment on that shot. He's trying to get the ball to finish a little harder. He moved in on the lane as far as where his stance is taken on the approach, gave the ball a little more room, and really ripped the holes out of it to make it finish that hard in the back.
Some wonderful folks right there. The Hadler family, proprietors of the Columbus Sport Bowling Palace. Marvelous facility here in this wonderful town in central Ohio. There's George and his wife, Pat.
They do a great job of promotion here, Jay. It's one of the finest tournaments that the players have an opportunity to play in, and they really look forward to coming back to Columbus.
The Pro-Am on Monday night here benefited the Big Brothers and Big Sisters charities of the Columbus area. Palombi, who had the 237 to defeat Tapp in the opening match with 7 strikes, has left the 4-pin here in the 3rd.
And it looks to me like, just from my point of view up here, Jay, that Ron has tried to make a change in his release and in his angle of attack on the lane, and in doing so has increased his foot speed, and he's a little bit out of time. That can get you in a lot of trouble. That's a major mistake you can make and not even realize you're making it. Get a little faster with those feet, and it's tough to make good shots.
We started this week with 160 players participating here. Granger finds himself down by 21.
This is when this young man gets tough. He's not very experienced, but it's amazing how good he is in the clutch. Let's see how well he performs now.
Doesn't get there for him, and he is really struggling.
He is, and it's amazing because I've watched him through the match play, and I've watched him in other events, and he's really tough when he gets behind. He's a great charger. And right now, he's completely lost on the lanes, and his balance looks good, his approach is good, but he's just not getting the ball reaction that he's expecting when he releases the ball.
And he's looking at that 1-2, 4-10. And he converts it.
That might give him a little shot in the arm, Jay, get him started. Ron Palombi had the opportunity to really put him down, and he let him off the hook a little bit. Now, if Granger can get it going, we could have a great match yet. Two young players, both of them with great amount of talent.
The scoreboard shows that Purvis Granger is down by 21 to Ron Palombi Jr.
That looks like the shot he's looking for, Jay. He really rolled that ball well. He got it down in the lane area that he wanted it on. He's finally made an adjustment on his speed so that he's getting the ball on line through the head area, the first part of the lane. And now I think he's getting lined up a little bit. We could have a great match. You see the ball finish very strongly, leaving the 4-pin only.
Granger came from 9th to 3rd last night. Won his first 6 games yesterday.
This bud's for all that you do.
Carlos, I need 100 of these by Friday.
My friend, I'm retired. My son is running the business now.
You know just where you're going. It's true, your pride is showing, cause you make America work, and this bud's for you.
Here's to you, Beechwood Age, for that clean, crisp taste that says Budweiser.
This bud's for you.
In the beginning of recorded history, man had an idea called a caravan. Slow and plodding, but right for its time. Some years later, man had a better idea. Dodge Caravan. Efficient, versatile, and perfect for its time. With front-wheel drive and a 550 protection plan, which is why Dodge Caravan has no equal in the civilized world. Dodge, setting new standards of performance.
Sunday, the NFL plays here when the Steelers battle the Bears.
Before your team takes the field, our team hits the air. NFL 86.
Ron Palombi in the 5th. And he leaves the 7 in the 4th. He left the 4, 6, 10. And then was open when he could only get the 6 on his try for the spare.
Jay, the lanes are changing a little bit as the players make shot after shot, and basically the same area of the lanes do change, and they haven't quite made the transition to the change in the lane condition, and they're not getting very many good breaks either. It seems like every time they make a small mistake, they pay the full price.
Palombi with 7 strikes in his first game. Doesn't have a strike in the second game yet. He has a lead of 7 over Purvis Granger. And you've mentioned that Granger, although young at 22 and rather inexperienced, is a battler.
He is. He's a clutch player, as both of them are. Ron Palombi and Purvis Granger are both good players in the 9th and 10th frame.
This fellow joined the PBA Tour just 3 months after his 18th birthday. We've had 10 frames without a strike here in this second match. 27,000 for the winner, 14,000 for second.
Right now, what has to be going through Ron Palombi's mind is that I threw all those strikes, bowled that great game the first match against Charlie Tapp, and here this young man is giving me a chance to put him away early, and I just can't get it going. And it's got to be frustrating for Ron Palombi as well as Purvis Granger.
Granger averaged 202.5 on the TV pair here this week. Lanes 51 and 52.
There you can see the fire in his eye, Jay. When he released that ball, he knew he had rolled it well. He got it in the target area on the lane he wanted. And boy, he's ready now. And I think Ron Palombi better get something started because this kid is going to come on strong.
On the left, the commissioner of the PBA Tour, Joe Antonora. And that's Tom Trampsky, the Ohio Division Manager of Anheuser-Busch. Looking good. Right there.
How about that? Now, all of a sudden, we went 10 frames without a strike, and all of a sudden they both get started. And like you said, it's a good match, Jay. It's close. It's only 8 pins apart right now. Both players on a strike. And really, it comes down to the last 3 or 4 frames. Who's going to perform under pressure for all the money?
These are 2 very talented young players. Palombi at age 24 and Granger at 22. And the 7 won't go down.
Same shot he did on that lane last time. In the 5th frame, he left the 7 pin on almost an identical shot. Ron liked this shot. Now look at the balance, the lift, the legs in there, good strength. Watch the ball, 5 pin go crossed in front of the 7. Almost got it, not quite.
Palombi holding on to an 8-pin lead. We'll be back after this from your local station.
Sunday, a man's obsession, a young girl's secret life, a family's love. Richard Crenna stars in The High Price of Passion, Sunday.
Introducing the smartest sale of the year, NBO's Thanksgiving weekend sale. A great time to gobble up Christmas gifts because men's sportswear is up to 70% off.
The spirit of New York, WWRL at the top of your AM dial.
It's inspirational.
Every 34 seconds, somebody buys a new Chevy Cavalier. Some for its front drive, some for the quality of its fit and finish, some just for the fuel-injected fun of it. But every 34 seconds, somebody makes a very smart choice. In fact, before this day is through, over 1,000 people will drive away in new Cavaliers. There goes another one.
The heartbeat of America, that's today's Chevrolet.
Belly Mel, Van Soup in the place to be. So let's all fight crack with WNBC. Let's all help stop the misery. So don't do it.
Turn on a holiday tradition, the tree lighting, Monday at 7:30.
As you watch Purvis Granger going to the foul line, 8th frame on a double. Watch this. Watch the wall shot. Not quite enough to get the 7, but he is in the lead with the spare. He has a 1-pin advantage now over Ron Palombi with just
Granger battling back, and a bit later on, you'll see these 2 gentlemen. Ferraro qualifying first. Big John Gant, the only left-hander in the final 5, qualifying second.
He's on there every week, Jay.
Seems like it. He has had a hot hand. Palombi on lane 52, 8th frame, 2nd match. And he has left the 4-pin.
It's not a high-scoring match, but it's sure a close one. And really, the players don't care what they shoot as long as they win the match. Pinfall doesn't mean a thing, just as long as they can win the match and advance. Ron Palombi still making adjustments in speed, in loft, trying to get a different break point on the ball.
Palombi would like to win his 2nd career title here and get back to the Firestone Tournament of Champions. Hope you'll join us next Saturday afternoon on the Budweiser Touring Players Championship from the Taylor Lanes in Taylor, Michigan. The last stop on the 87 tour. $135,000 in prize money will be on the air at 2 Eastern Time from the Detroit suburb next Saturday. High. And the 3-pin is standing for Palombi.
Both players are a little lost. I think right now Granger is probably lined up a little better than Ron Palombi, even though Ron bowled that great game in the first match. He is really struggling right now, Jay. And you look at the intense concentration on Purvis Granger's face. He's thinking about his next shot.
Granger leading by 3, getting set for his toss here in the all-important 9th frame.
A chance to win the match without Ron Palombi even having a chance to catch up in the 10th frame. If Purvis Granger can strike in the 9th and 2 in the 10th, he's a winner. Look out.
Well, that could have been worse than it was, because that shot was very high on the head pin.
And he threw it with a lot of confidence, Jay. He was very comfortable with his shot. He liked it when he released it. Good balance, good follow through. The ball's just breaking very sharp on the back. Neither player really able to keep a consistent shot on the lanes.
There's a gentleman who does such a great job here, Mr. Phil Russo, the general manager of the Columbus Square Bowling Palace. Purvis Granger by 2. A tight match between Palombi and Granger.
Almost got the pin to roll across and kick it out, Jay, and that was a key shot, as you know. 10th frame, a 1-pin lead with the spare. But you see the ball breaking very sharply again on the back. They're getting a lot of back end, a lot of finish on the ball. Very distinct possibility of a tie here, Jay, with the spare. Purvis Granger with a strike in the 11th frame can bowl 182, and if he gets 9, that's 181.
And a reminder, you folks at home, if we have a tie, we haven't had one on our television coverage of the fall tour over the years, that it's a 2-frame roll-off.
9th and 10th frame roll-off. It's neither one of these players wants to go through that, I'm sure. It's a very nerve-wracking experience. Boy. I've been in a couple of those. All right, here it is, a 181 score for Purvis Granger. We definitely can have a tie here. If Ron Palombi strikes on the first ball and then spares, any kind of a spare after that, we have a tie, a 181 tie. And as Jay mentioned, that's 9th and 10th frame roll-off.
Well, we're going right to the wire in this one.
He must strike on this ball to have any chance at all. Oh boy, did he strike. He would have knocked down 20 pins with that ball, Jay.
He really had that one on target.
Now, to win the match. He's in good shape for a tie. He needs a spare to tie, but if he strikes here, he's a winner.
I think it's tough on him. Look at the folks looking on. What are they feeling down deep inside?
I think Mom's looking for a little oxygen right now. She doesn't look too calm.
Here we go. Looking good. Oh, my, what a fine comeback by Palombi.
Unbelievable how they can perform. He was completely lost throughout the whole match. Came through in the 10th frame when he had to get the big double. It's only his 3rd strike of the whole game, Jay, and he got 2 of them together when he needed them.
Well, this was some kind of finish for Palombi. So, Palombi defeating Charlie Tapp, and now Purvis Granger, the victory, 190 to 181 for Ron Palombi. And he will march onward here in this Budweiser Bowling Classic from Columbus, Ohio. More action coming up after these messages.
Be right back, Pop.
This Bud's for all that you do.
Hey, Pete, come here. Miss you?
Hey, my glove.
I found out Pop worked overtime to pay for it. He was always knocking himself out to give us something better.
Sounds a lot like you.
Budweiser, the king of beers, salutes everyone who's ever worked for more than just a paycheck.
Thanks. I think that's my line.
This Bud's for you.
Smile.
The easy does a 35 for pictures that just come alive.
35 millimeter? It's easy.
Kodak VR 35.
Ta-da!
You just drop the film in. It almost loads itself. Then aim and shoot.
Have you ever seen a sharper baby picture?
I have.
Whichever one you want to choose, we've got the 35 for you. Kodak VR 35.
It's a great shot.
Nothing to it.
Some of the best workshops rely on accessories from True Value hardware stores, like the rugged Plano Totemore with drawer and carrying handle for just $5.29. Bright and dark areas with a Woods Wire retractable reel light for only $14.99. The Master Mechanic two-piece mini-locking plier set is $9.99, less a $3 mail-in rebate. And the Snap-It Power Strip with 8 grounded receptacles is also just $9.99 at most True Value hardware stores and home centers.
NBC Sports World presents a gathering of the world's great figure skaters. Scott Hamilton, dance sensation Torville and Dean, Dorothy Hamill, and more. Relive the magic of the World Professional Figure Skating Championships on NBC Sports World.
A pressure performance for Ron Palombi Jr. to defeat Granger 190 to 181 and to move on here in quest of the top prize. The Columbus Square Bowling Palace, the site of this week's action. And we've had a marvelous week here, and the Budweiser folks have done just a tremendous job putting on this Budweiser Bowling Classic in the great city of Columbus.
They have, Jay. They're outstanding proprietors. This is one of the finest centers in the country, and the pros love coming back to Columbus because obviously they're treated like professionals.
Earl, we saw these two young bowlers really struggling, really fighting to adjust to the lane conditions. Then all of a sudden, Palombi was able to gather himself and get it together.
He threw the high hard one down there, Jay. Tremendous lift and power when he needed it, and he got the strike. But the lane conditions do change, and they change dramatically, much more than you would realize, because there's a lot of factors involved. And one of those is the heat from the television lights. The other is the surface being a urethane surface and being very hard. The oil, the dressing on the lane moves around very quickly, and as it does, it changes the ball reaction. The players have to make adjustments.
Palombi has another challenge just ahead. John Gant has bowled brilliantly of late.
He's unbelievable. He's probably, well, we've said this before, he's one of the most powerful releases on tour. He's going to rev it up today, Jay.
So the only left-hander in the field, John Gant, will be coming up against Palombi, and we will back in just a moment here in Columbus with more.
This is your cousin Samantha.
Hi, Samantha. Hi. I've never ridden in a truck.
Don't be shy, you're not alone. Let our dogs take us there. Settle back in your chair. Soon we'll be at the place we call our own. Come on, Dodge, come along to my Carolina home.
Samantha, can I call you Sam? Sure.
Push your old antifreeze another year, and you might end up pushing your luck. Weak neglected antifreeze can cause freeze-up and make a radiator look this bad, while the Prestone radiator looks this good. So don't push your luck, change it. Once a year with fresh Prestone.
This high-performance drink cleans your fuel system to help maintain peak performance. STP Gas Treatment, the high-performance drink for your car.
Mark! Hey, Mark! I see you got one of those rhino people. Next thing you know, he's going to tell us it's got horns.
Unleash your game. Roll a Rhino. The Rhino. From Brunswick, a urethane ball designed for professional and high-performance bowlers.
Match 3, Ron Palombi Jr. going against John Gant. Palombi with victories over Tapp and Granger. $27,000 first prize. $100,000 from our friends at True Value for a perfect game.
strike to open things up for Ron Palombi.
As the players have gone on throughout the day in match play, the scores have tended to get higher during the evening blocks, and now these lane conditions are getting toward that evening shot. We can expect some better scores.
Gant won the final 4 games after losing the first 4 last night. And the left-hander opened strong. He defeated Palombi 279 to 207 in the position round. 29 years old, out of Independence, Kentucky, lives now in Cincinnati. 3rd year on tour. A win here would put him all the way up in 6th place on the money list and give him a shot, of course, at Bowler of the Year honors. Well, in the last game, we went a whole bunch of frames without anybody striking, and now we have opened up Palombi starting with 1 and Gant with a double. Skins game's coming up next. My buddy Lee Trevino will be in the action out there with Arnold Palmer and Fuzzy Zeller, and a native of Columbus, Ohio, Mr. Jack Nicklaus. Boy, what a foursome.
Is this the same bowling center we were in the last match?
What happened here in 5 to 10 minutes, huh?
That's what we were talking about.
Yes, sir.
There's the difference. The players are adjusting to the changing lanes, Jay.
I'll say it again. $100,000 from True Value. Perfect game.
They're not thinking about that yet, but it'll come across their mind if they get that 5th, 6th, 7th strike in a row.
Left the 10 pin.
Good shot too. Ron Palombi's he's made the adjustment. I keep saying that because it's such an important factor in the game of bowling. The ability of the player, the difference between a good professional and a good amateur bowler is the ability to make the adjustments as the lanes change. And he's made some good adjustments. He's getting the ball in play in the pocket area. And with the power that both these players use, the strength they have in their release, they're going to get a lot of strikes.
Palombi, who has scores of 237 and 190 here this afternoon, averaging 213.5 over the first 2 games. Gant celebrating his 29th birthday today. And 3 in a row for Gant. He has bowled a 300 game here this week. There's his wife, Dr. Beverly Gant, and son Evan. And yeah, Evan says, look, I'm on TV.
Hi, Mom. Well, Big John just saw in that 5.5 pin. He looks great out there.
Look at Dad. He's kind of proud to have his son watching today. Gant averaged 235.5 on the TV pair. For Gant.
Oh, boy, is he destroying those pins, Jay, and we've seen him do it before. He looks great.
More action from Columbus in just a moment.
If you just ask for a light beer,
Give me a light.
You never know what you'll get.
Thoughts? No, actually, Bud Light.
So if you want the less filling light beer with the first name and taste, ask for Bud Light.
Yours? No.
Because everything else
Give me a light. Showtime.
is just a light.
Car carry people, we know who we are.
Here's where Quaker State's unique engine protection formula goes to work for you.
We got what it takes, we know what's best. We're the ones who won't settle for less.
For top quality, state-of-the-art motor oil protection, special formula Quaker State.
We're Quaker State people, reaching for the best.
Smile.
The easy does the 35 for pictures to come alive.
35 millimeter. It's easy.
Kodak VR 35.
Ta-da!
You just drop the film in. It almost loads itself. Then aim,
and cheap.
Have you ever seen a sharper baby picture?
I have.
Whichever one you want to choose, we've got the 35 for you. Kodak VR 35.
It's a great shot.
Nothing to it.
This fall, NBC Sports has a November to remember when heart-pounding excitement returns to the greens, where one putt could be worth $450,000. Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, Lee Trevino, and Fuzzy Zeller play the Skins Game. It's a November to remember on NBC.
John Gant has opened with 5 in a row. He just struck in the 5th. Palombi, a strike in the 4th. A spare in the 5th. And here is Gant going for half a dozen, cousin.
There he is. There he is. And just as you mentioned, Jay, that $100,000 for a 300 game put up by True Value Hardware. Wow. Does he look good today, huh?
Gant now with a 41-pin lead, in quest of an extra 100,000. Gant will overtake Dave Husted as the PBA's average leader after this week. Here's Palombi on 52. A little high and a split for Palombi. He's looking at a 4.67.
Oh, yeah, Jay, that's disaster. The first 5 frames, he had every ball in the pocket, left a couple of 10 pins, and now with John Gant on 6 in a row, this is definitely disaster.
So Palombi is open in the 6th. And Gant's lead jumps up to 55 pins.
You know, we've got a lot of senior citizens in the audience today, Jay, from just a little ways from here, Chillicothe. I think I said that right, and they're all bowlers.
Wow, yeah,
right, they're all bowlers. Now, I'm not talking about you and Jay Randolph and Chuck Lozano when I include those senior citizens, but...
Well, they're a great bunch of people. It was fun visiting with them, and this is a marvelous crowd, big crowd here today. Strike for Palombi in the 7th. Now here is Gant. We are going to stay right here. $100,000 for a perfect game. Gant in the 7th. Well, there goes his shot at the $100,000, but what a great run as Gant leaves the 7-pin in the 7th.
You know, Jay, as I mentioned earlier, I don't think John was even thinking about that 300 game. He was just trying to win the match, and if he'd have got a couple more, he might have been thinking about it, but he made a good shot there. He's happy to leave a spare that he's been making quite easily all week, the 7-pin.
So Gant, as his wife and son look on, very much in control.
I'm Hulk Hogan, and I want you to know that not even Hercules can make an impression on these 24-inch pythons, and I'm going to prove it on Saturday night's main event.
This is a portable copier. You can tell it's portable because it has wheels. This is also a portable copier. You can tell it's portable because it fits on top of the portable copier with wheels. And this is the new Silver Reed Portacopy. It runs on batteries and makes clean, clear copies 3 inches wide by as long as you need. Portacopy. You can tell it's portable because we don't have to tell you it's portable.
Mitsubishi, are you looking for the perfect feel, the perfect style, the perfect deal? Mitsubishi.
This is Mitsubishi Galant, a true luxury sedan. Right now, your Mitsubishi Motors dealer has more Galants than ever, not to mention new colors and interior options. Speaking of not mentioning, Nissan and Toyota would like me not to mention Galant's price. Thanks. Don't mention it.
The perfect place, the perfect time.
Special factory incentives to dealers could mean an even better deal at your tri-state Mitsubishi Motors dealer.
The home video camera wars on Strictly Business tonight at 7.
Ron Palombi with a strike in the 8th is still in this match. Yes, indeed, he is still in it. Right.
He is, definitely, Jay. 34 pins down after 9 frames for Ron Palombi. Now in the 9th frame, John Gant. 34-pin lead for John Gant, but he's shooting a 249 game right now. Palombi can strike out for 235, so he must stay clean. Doesn't want to make any mistakes. There's that power, Jay, we were talking about. Tremendous power on the ball. Gets that pin to fly across the pin deck and come back and hit the 7 with the neck of the pin, the very top of the pin. Watch the power in the release. Tremendous strength. Now watch the 5 pin. Zinging across the lane. The head pin hits the wall, comes back. Just enough to get the 7. I never could do that.
Oh, that's not the truth. Gant has reached the TV finals 3 of 4 times on the fall tour. 4 of the last 5. 2 weeks ago in the True Value Open, his final 4 games in match play on a Friday night were 279, 205, 279, and 254. Last night he closed out with 269, 237, 236, 279.
And a chance for 279 in this game. One strike away from another 279. He's in a rut.
Back in the 7th, he left the 7 pin. Other than that, he has been perfect.
Well, we've got a winner, Jay.
And Gant will have his shot against the man who qualified first here this week, Dave Ferraro. Congratulations from Palombi to Gant. Gant, 277. There's his folks. Ron and Linda Palombi from Erie, Pennsylvania. And it's been a fine week for Ron. 24 years old, his 4th appearance in the TV finals this year.
They're still really proud of him. I know you know that, Jay, because he's bowled a great day. He's bowled a great match against John Gant. He
ran into a buzzsaw.
Oh, didn't he? Unbelievable.
Career championship round record. There you see it, 2 and 3 and a 203.8 average. I think you're going to hear a lot about this young man. He makes the spare. 223 for Palombi at 277 for John Gant. There's your scoreboard. The top prize, remember, $27,000 in this Budweiser Bowling Classic here at the Columbus Square Bowling Palace in Columbus, Ohio. There is more to come right after this.
When it comes to do-it-yourself projects, rely on True Value Hardware Store's professional quality master mechanic tools and their customer guarantee.
Give our heavy-duty power tools like this 3/8-inch variable speed reversing drill for only $27.99. This 7 1/4-inch circular saw is lightweight, powerful, and just $42.99. And this finishing sander for only $39.99 gets the job done fast.
Get master mechanic tools exclusively at most True Value Hardware Stores and home centers.
A bowler's greatest enemy, lane conditions. Difficult, changing, unpredictable. But there's a ball that handles it all. The AMF angle. Urethane control, urethane hitting power. Devastating on any lane condition. #1 total winner on the Winter Pro Tour over the past 5 years. Don't be left in the past. Hundreds of thousands of bowlers have chosen the black angle to get better scores. The AMF black angle at your bowling pro shop. The angle strikes again.
Power and long life. That's what you get from Interstate Batteries. With service all across America, Interstate means power and long life. Get Interstate. Take power.
Sunday, the NFL plays here when the Steelers battle the Bears.
Before your team takes the field, our team hits the air. NFL 86.
NBC Sports presents the Bowling Forum, and today it's sponsored by Budweiser. Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you.
Jay Randolph, along with Hall of Famer Earl Anthony. Hope you've enjoyed the Bowling Forum as we try to present some topical items and insight into the world of bowling during the PBA Fall Tour. And today, we get to talk about something very dear to your heart and to mine, the Bowling Hall of Fame in St. Louis, Missouri.
It's one of the finest in the country, Jay, and I'm very proud to be a member of that Hall of Fame, and the opportunity for anyone to go through it, they should never pass it up. It's great.
Well, we were there, of course, this summer with you, Earl, for a special presentation. The Hall of Fame sits directly across from Busch Stadium, the home of the St. Louis Cardinals. And it is worth a trip if you're anywhere in the St. Louis area to see the Hall. Shirts worn by some of the greats of bowling. And, well, there's some early memorabilia. I mean early.
That's real early. Those were tough to knock down. A lot tougher than they are today, Jay.
Some marvelous displays of early pins, and these pins, of course, and bowling ball.
Bowling balls used by some of the greatest players in the game. Some really, really old bowling balls made out of things they never considered making bowling balls out of now, like stone.
And you can bowl in the Bowling Hall of Fame. Also, you get a chance to see, as far as I know, the only bowling pin car in the world.
You ever had a chance to drive that, Jay?
No,
I haven't either. I'd like to try it once.
Martin Luther was involved in bowling. There's some marvelous exhibits on hand. Hope when you get to the St. Louis area, you certainly will take time out to spend a day or a half a day at the Bowling Hall of Fame, St. Louis, Missouri. And next Saturday, the PBA Fall Tour continues right here on NBC Sports. The Budweiser Touring Players Championship from Taylor, Michigan. World's finest bowlers competing, $135,000 in prize money. That's next Saturday at 2 Eastern Time and 2 Pacific, the PBA Fall Tour right here on NBC Sports. Coming up next, of course, that unique sports experience, the Skins game, the first 9 holes today. Fuzzy Zeller, Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, and the Merry Mex, Lee Trevino. Coverage of the first 9 right after the bowling, except out on the West Coast. Check your local listings for the time in your area. And tomorrow, start your football day with NFL 86 and host Bob Costas. He's going to talk tomorrow with the Heisman candidate, Benny Testaverde. Ahmad Rashad features the Chicago Bears. Paul McGuire, of course, with his insight into the NFL. Frank DeFord has a commentary. NFL 86 tomorrow at 12:30 Eastern Time here on NBC Sports. And now, the championship match of this $150,000 Budweiser Classic, uninterrupted as always for you. A special feature on NBC Sports. John Gant going against the man who qualified first here this week, Dave Ferraro.
This should be a great match, Jay. The power of John Gant and the accuracy and consistency of Dave Ferraro. Almost a classic matchup. 2 fine young players.
Ferraro from Kingston, New York, came all the way from 72nd after the second round. Opens with a strike. He was 16-8 in match play. Seventh year on tour for Ferraro. Here's Gant.
Hasn't lost a thing, Jay. He's still going.
Gant with that 277, 10 strikes in his victory over Ron Palombi. Palombi winning $8,000, finishing 3rd.
You know, when you're waiting to come on as the tournament leader, as Dave Ferraro did, and watches a player like John Gant throw 10 or 11 strikes in a match, you're hoping he's just shot it all right there and it's all over with. So when you get over there to bowl him, he's lost it. He's lost that edge, and he has to wait and get all started and lined up again. But it doesn't look like John has lost it. He's still going strong.
These fellows have averaged 222, the bowlers today on the TV pair. Gant is really on target here.
He is. He's throwing the ball really well. His timing looks good. He's getting the ball well out over the foul line. He's projecting the ball well. His balance is great. Well, when you're throwing the ball that good with that much power, it's really hard to stop him. The pins haven't got a chance.
Dave Ferraro, 3rd career championship round appearance, had the bad fortune to post the highest losing score in the TV finals. Ferraro with a strike, and He lost to Mark Baker, 279 to 278, as we mentioned. And, well, that's a tough go, isn't it?
That is. When you bowl 278, I'll take my chances with that score any place, Jay. He looks like he's on his way to another one of those 270 games the way he's going. He might need it to beat John Gant.
Gloria Ferraro, his lovely wife, that 279-278 loss in the Austin Open last year, where he finished third. Strikes all around for Ferraro and Gant.
We're still going, and nobody's missed yet. It doesn't look like they're going to the way they're going. That's what the players call the fast 8, Jay. The ball broke very sharply on the back. John Gant getting all that power on the ball. It just hit too hard. As you watch John Gant go to the foul line, he just revs it up so hard. The ball grips the lane and breaks. See how hard it's breaking on the back end? That fast 8. Actually, the 3-pin goes up and over the top of the 610.
Here's Tom Tramsky. He's going to pass out the goodies at the end of this one. Gant picking up the 610. Of course, the Budweiser folks done so much for us on the fall tour and for bowling and for sports in this country. And Anheuser-Busch with a magnificent brewery here in the Columbus area. Gant down by 12 to Ferraro, and this is the championship match for the $27,000. Seven is still standing.
He had that scout again coming across there. And his match, the previous match, John bowled, he had that same leave, and the pin danced across and kicked out the 7. This time he wasn't quite as fortunate. He's been very sharp on that 7-pin this week. He's really improved his spare shooting, Jay. John used, when he first came on the tour, struggled with spares. He's really improved that part of his game. He's become much more accurate.
Well, he has really been sharp. He was never worse than 5th all this week. Ferraro, as I mentioned, came from the 72nd position in the second round to 1st. There's the prize money in this $150,000 Budweiser Classic.
Dave's checking the pin spotting. He wanted a re-rack. He got it. The players are allowed 3 re-racks in each game. No more than that. So they kind of have to save them in case they need one in that 9th or 10th frame in a crucial situation. So they use them sparingly.
The Hadler family, the proprietors of this marvelous facility, looking on, and a strike for Ferraro. He is up by 23. He lost to Charlie Tapp, 205-183 in the position round last night. 16-8 in match play this week. 299 is high game, and 228 on the TV pair. Ferraro's whole family involved in bowling. His brother Steve and father Jack own the Mid-City Lanes in Kingston, New York. Brother Steve also a PBA member.
And he's perfect, Jay, through 5 frames. Unbelievable the way John Gant bowled that last match and started this one. This kid's coming out here like there's no competition. He's just bowling great. Look at the form, just classic style. Set the foot. There is his problem when he gets in trouble. As you can see, he was sideways at the foul line. He tends to pull the ball across his body. Right now, he's perfect. And a terrible break for John Gant. He threw the ball really well. Again, that sharp break on this lane last time. He left that fast 8, as we mentioned earlier, the 610. This is almost the same hit, the ball breaking very sharply, cutting it, and watch the ball cut in front of the 8-pin. Now that's power. That is power.
Gant down 34 pins.
at the halfway point in the match. Never count John Gant out of a match. 34, 44, or 54 pins down because of his ability to strike. But Dave Ferraro is really bowling well.
6th TV appearance in his last 9 tournaments. Uh-oh.
That's a crusher there.
Boy, is it.
First real mistake John has made in his either his last match or this one, where it really was costly. Before 6-10, he'll throw the ball extremely hard at this at the 6-10, try to get it to bounce out of the pit area. Almost. We got him dancing a little bit.
Well, he is open here in the 6th. '74 was the last TV perfect game by Jim Stefanich out in California.
Jim also a fine golfer. He might do a little damage in that Skins game if he was in there. He's a little better than Scratch. Of course, you know, against guys like that, it's tough. Dave Ferraro has a chance to add his name to that list of perfect games on television. Only 3 in all the years that professional bowling has been televised.
All right, that is 6 in a row for Ferraro.
It's too bad since they're given 100,000, you don't get 50 of it for the first half. Jay, what do you think?
Doesn't work that way.
Doesn't
Earl.
work that way.
No, sir. Ferraro up by 56. Or 58. The scoreboard says 56, but he's up by 58.
Wide with that one, Jay. Didn't get it back.
Yes, problem in the 7th, just as he had the problem with his 7th pin in the 7th in his last game. Ferraro comes to the 7th and doesn't get them all.
Now, I'll tell you what, it may look like Dave Ferraro is he is in a very commanding position in a championship match, but as I mentioned before, John Gant can throw a lot of strikes. You saw that in his first match. Still can shoot 232. Ferraro has to make this spare. And he can't get careless. Anything can happen. A lot of frames left.
Dave finished 7th in last week's Brunswick Memorial World Open. Mentioned that Gant will, with his play this week, move ahead of Dave Husted. You see, he was just behind Husted coming into this week, but now he's going to go to the #1 spot. Husted has been nursing the flu all week. A strike for Gant, and he's still very much in it. Gant, who was voted in '84 the Sporting News PBA Rookie of the Year. And he won his only title that year.
-55.
Current earnings of better than $60,000, better than 140 in his career. Gant comes back, battling back with strikes in the 7th and 8th. His young son applauding there, and now it's back on the shoulders of Dave Ferraro, who qualified first. Dave, 5'8", 160 pounds.
He says he's got his speech ready, though, Chuck.
Ferraro's impressed me with his concentration and coolness today.
He's amazing under pressure. He's bowled extremely well in this championship match. And as you mentioned earlier, Jay, he's had a little television experience, but not a great deal. He lost that 279 to 278 match to Mark Baker. Maybe that's what made him tough. Losing a game like that, he figures, as good as I can do. What are you going to do? I'll do it again. You try to beat me.
Should be 45, Frank. Just doing my job.
Oh, and Ferraro thought sure that that was going to be a little better than
all he has to do is stay out of trouble, Jay, and that's an easy spare for Dave Ferraro at this point. And even though he'd like to get the strike, if he just gets his spare, and another spare in the 10th frame, he's going to be a winner, but he still has another frame to go to stay clean, the 10th frame.
Ferraro started things out with 6 in a row. Then a spare in the 7th, strike in the 8th, spare in the 8th, and now Gant with strikes in the 7th and 8th here in the all-important 9th.
Hit him thin, watch him spin. A lot of power there, strength, a lot of revolutions on the ball. That's what makes those pins dance like that.
The skins game is coming up next. Gant is down by 32 pins. And he needs to go all the way.
He does. He can get the match to within 12 pins with 2 strikes in the 10th. Actually, 3 in the 10th. Then it'll be up to Dave Ferraro to get a mark to win the tournament. See how quickly he can turn around in the sport of bowling. Look at this. He got it.
Wait. And a big sigh from Big John.
All right, he's still in the match. 2 more strikes. He'll cut the lead to 12 pins. Dave Ferraro sitting there thinking, what do you have to do to beat this guy? What a crusher.
Ooh, the 7-pin.
That's about the only thing that seems to be able to stop John Gant is that dead flush 7-pin. He threw it extremely well. He knew he needed it. Sigh of relief by Dave Ferraro. All he has to do is stay behind the foul line, keep the ball in the lane, and he's a winner.
Gant with a total of 221. Ferraro needs 5 pins. And he gets the strike, and somebody said, welcome to the Firestone, Davey. And his wife applauds, and a very big win for Dave Ferraro. His first PBA title and the $27,000 first prize, and we'll watch him finish it off here. He got another strike with a dead hit on the head pin.
He was just trying to throw it down the middle and get it over with. He's a winner. He knew it. And he's just really had just what a thrill for a young man like this. We've had a lot of this fall, Jay. First-time winners in George Branham last week, who won the World Open. And it's just been such an exciting fall tour. It's been great.
Well, the victory for Dave Ferraro, 27-year-old native of Kingston, New York. His wife with a great big hug. Happiness all around for the Ferraros. We'll be back and pass out the prizes when we return to the Budweiser Bowling Classic right after this.
Give me a light. Bud Light.
If you just ask for a light beer, you never know what you'll get.
Pitcher of light.
Bud Light. So if you want the less-filling light beer with the first name and taste, don't just ask for a light beer.
Give me a light.
Ask them to bring out their best.
Bud Light.
Bud Light. Because everything else is just a light.
Time was you could put a truck on the market and get by with just an ordinary guarantee. With Ford and Chevy, it's still that way. At Dodge, we put a standard 550 protection plan on every truck we build. Every truck we build. Now ask yourself, where would you rather be, back there with them or out here with Dodge? America's best back trucks are Ram tough, and that's guaranteed.
America's favorite pastime returns to NBC as the nation's top rollers battle it out for Bowler of the Year honors. Join Jay Randolph and Hall of Famer Earl Anthony for the PBA Fall Tour next Saturday on NBC.
Ferraro over Gant here in this $150,000 Budweiser Classic. And first of all, we visit with the man who finished second. You've had a hot hand, but you couldn't win it all this afternoon. John Gant, nice going, though.
Thanks. I'd like to congratulate Dave Ferraro for winning NBattle. A great game, and have a fun time in Firestone, I'm sure.
Well, it was interesting. I'm sure you'll have a fun time. Somebody yelled as he threw that last ball, "Welcome to Firestone." And it's a big win for him here, but you've been really hot in the last few weeks.
I've been practicing a lot, working hard on my game, and it's come through, and I've been bowling good this fall, so I'll just keep working hard and hope I win next week.
Well, Earl gets to do something that people used to do all the time to him. They were always handing him checks, but now the old left-hander's going to hand another left-hander a check, the second prize.
Well, my pleasure, John, to present you with a check for second place for $14,000 and tremendous bowling throughout the year, and I know you're going to continue to do that. I have one short question, Jay.
Sure.
When you're doing all this practicing, John, what exactly are you working on? Are you trying to improve anything in your game or anything specific?
It's just repetition. I'm working on doing the same thing every time, and my concentration mostly.
It's showing well. You're doing tremendously well, John. Congratulations.
Thanks, Earl.
All right, John Gant, who finished second here, and keep going.
Thank you.
Let's bring in the champion, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Dave Ferraro from Kingston, New York. Here he is. And alongside, of course, is Mr. Tom Tramsky of Anheuser-Busch. First of all, from all of us at NBC Sports, and of course we have a special association this year with Bud Sports producing these fall tour events. Our congratulations to Anheuser-Busch and all your people for a wonderful week here.
Thank you, Jay. I think the people of Columbus have been so enthused over this tournament. You know, they talk about bowl country around Columbus. This is bowling country, too, and
Well,
I think
is.
today proves that.
Well, and good luck to Ohio State, certainly.
You bet.
Dave, this beautiful bowling ball with the Anheuser-Busch insignia on top, I guess we could say this ball's for you.
It's a dream come true.
Dave, I'll tell you, and Gloria, I understand this is your first win,
Yes.
and we're so pleased with Budweiser to be able to pay you that $27,000. You know, this trophy is one good thing, but I think that $27,000 check is going to be enjoyed, right?
Yes.
Why don't we get to the check? George Hadler, I think we can all see this check, can't we? George, bring this in and make the presentation.
Dave, we're glad to have you in Columbus, Ohio. Congratulations. You did a beautiful job. Looking forward to having you back next year. And we want to present you with this modest-sized check here. Take it home in good health.
Hand it right over there. All right. Thank you, Tom. Why don't you get over here and let me move in and talk things over with Dave. I mentioned earlier on the telecast, of course, that this has to be special for you. The first victory is always very special. And, of course, you have grown up in the sport, and your family, 3 generations have been involved in it. What are your thoughts today?
Well, this is a great moment for me, and I'm sure my family and my wife. And I'd like to thank the Hadler family for sponsoring the tournament, and Phil Russo for having us here. He's been a great host, and thank you all for coming.
I thought today that we might have an all-Italian final here. Were you rooting for that?
Yeah, it was close. Little had a shot last night, and if he won the last game, he would have been here too.
That's right. And, of course, I think probably the item that Earl and I talked about today was that you seemed to come right out in that top spot, and you were very cool and had your concentration here.
Yeah, I was a little jittery when I started, but I think after I threw the first couple strikes, it kind of loosened me up a little bit, and I felt confident that I could win. And I did, thank God.
Let me tell everybody, I'll tell you, let me tell everybody here and everybody at home, in case you don't know, Gloria really put the pressure on this fella yesterday. She went out and bought a $300 outfit for Christmas, and you made it quite clear he had to come through today.
Yes, I did, unfortunately. With the heat on him.
I know that to win this title means a great deal, and Earl and I were talking about, of course, and somebody just screamed as you threw that last ball, "Welcome to Firestone,
Yeah.
Welcome to Firestone."
That definitely came through my mind, I'll tell you. That's a nice place to be, and I'm looking forward to it.
I wonder, were you thinking at all, you started off with 6 in a row, there's a $100,000 prize, you know, for a 300 game.
No, I was just trying to take shot by shot and take whatever came.
I can understand that. What's next for you?
Well, next week, I hope. Hope we do well next week.
Well, next week, of course, we want to remind everyone we'll be in Taylor, Michigan. and the Tournament Players Championship there for Budweiser. And you think you could win 2 in a row?
Well, I don't know. I hope
Why
so.
not?
I hope so.
Why not? Was there any key for you today?
Well, I just think that I had a good reaction on the lanes, and everything seemed to go my way. I only left 1 tap the last game, and I'm just grateful. Thank you.
Let's see what Earl might have to say about your performance. Earl?
Well, Jay, I felt it was an outstanding performance, especially for a player without that much experience. And I think, Dave, you might have said you were a little jittery to start the match, but you looked really strong out there. You looked like you had good balance today and a lot of speed on the ball. You're trying to keep it real firm?
Yeah, I was trying to go a little straight and not trying to loop it, because I figured if I loop it, I could leave a few weak 10s or 10 pins, and I think my percentage of going straighter was a lot better to carry.
John Gant had that wonderful victory and then was coming into you, and he was throwing the ball so well.
Yeah, he kind of got me thinking there. He was striking. He was striking every ball. He's a tough opponent to bowl against. He's fearless.
Well, our congratulations again. Here's your champion right here, and we wish you the very, very best.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, it's been a marvelous week here. Thanks again to all our friends at Anheuser-Busch, to the Hadler family, and a wonderful spot to spend the Thanksgiving week right here in Columbus, Ohio. Want to remind you all about some upcoming events on NBC, of course. And coming up next, we have the Skins game from out in California, except on the West Coast. And the Skins game, of course, is featuring a man from right here in Columbus, Ohio, who's won a little money on the tour, Mr. Jack Nicklaus, along with Fuzzy Zeller, Colonel Palmer, and the Merrimex Lee Trevino. That's coming up next for most of you, of course, and check your local listings. And don't forget about tomorrow. NFL football comes your way, and we hope you will check your local listings for that. Pittsburgh is at Chicago, Buffalo at Kansas City, Houston goes against Cleveland, New England at New Orleans, San Diego at Indianapolis, and tomorrow, live on NFL 86, Vinny Testaverde, who figures to win the Heisman Trophy. Well, we want to remind you that this marvelous event has been presented by Budweiser. Bud Light, everything else is just a light. By Dodge, setting new standards of performance. By AMF's Angle Winter Pro Tour's #1 total winner over the past 5 years. And by AC Delco, the smart parts. For Earl Anthony, Jay Randolph, for all the gang here in Columbus, Ohio, there is our champion, and congratulations to all the participants. This has been a production of Bud Sports and the PBA Incorporated in association